actually, no, you just you throw him into your Beyblade arena.
Yeah.
You throw him into the Beyblade arena and then he dies. He just gets ripped up by the Beyblades.
Or the Beyblades just fly out of the arena. And bottom side probably they have. Taeyun having his ult available right now. Raptor drops Dragon. They're going for a play on the Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy is in a lot of trouble now. He is going to head over towards the Karma, but he is just dead. That is first blood going over to Raptor as Namgung just a little bit late.
This is the Karma Silver lane working as he hits level 6. Teddy has no way to clear this wave. Even if he had True Shot Barrage, he would have been so dead there.
Well, speaking of so dead, VicLa is also so incredibly dead. Down he will go, and that is a 1-for-1 as the dust settles. I guess still with some bits and bobs, not too much more, as Romer is going to come down. GIDEON already started on this Chemtech Dragon, but Raptor is in the area. And Scatter actually lands here. There's the flag and drag. We do have GIDEON getting into the Cataclysm as Namgung comes over a little bit earlier, boots the corpse right through VicLa. But it's not going to be enough to lock him down just yet. A 1-for-1 in the end, mid laner for jungle.
All right, down here on the bottom is just going over as Teddy can come over here for just a brief moment and offer some extra damage so they can secure it. Raptors in the area, and they're going to TP for a late contest. This is going to be a pretty fine line that Bro have to walk.
Yeah, Namgung does find a nice electrocute here onto Kellin, who tries to use that W in order to keep himself alive. The flash into the magical journey here for GIDEON as Taeyun just gets over and murders him. The Lee Sin's down. Now Namgung has nowhere to go. It's a double for Taeyun on this Sivir. And man, what a start for BNK FEARX.
And the thing is, I was familiar with Taeyun's game. That's why I was surprised he was playing Sivir, but I guess I wasn't as familiar in the next few moments. So very close, very tense moment here for Bro. They really desperately need this Dragon. This Vic is flashing.
Yeah, Tempered Fate does come on through, and that is going to get the flash out of the Syndra. That is a brilliant play from Namgung, because a Syndra with no flash, as we saw before.
But they're even going to take this blue buff, and Bro are getting nothing in return. There is no cross map, but they're taking a very slow approach here to kill clear. He has flash and ult.
Yeah, I don't know whether this is going to be a good option. Stay away from the walls, Bros, as Clear is just dead. So that was nicely played. But it is going to be Dragon going over to BNK FEARX. Just an Ocean, not end of the world or anything like that, but that double Dragon you were talking about, no longer on the cards for the Bros with the first couple, as Namgung does get stunned up momentarily, and it's a Hextech Soul this game.
Okay.
An unbelievable one for either team.
Massive. Especially considering how many different poke tools there are. I mean, Teddy would love it, but so would the Sivir with her Q, the Syndra. It's a lot of great reasons to have that. I mean, they have such a strong front line, BNK do, that even they're worth it.
Yeah, this is a real worrying type maneuver, but let's see how successful they can be, as Casting just wants to get some damage down onto this one. There is GIDEON just taking some Krugs where he can, but that is just Rift Herald, and not a lot in response.
Instantly dropped to kill this mid turret.
Well, Namgung is going to deny the charge. Very nicely done, gets there in time. Still, they're going to take it. Like, there's just not a whole lot that can be done here. Let's see whether they can return the favor, as once again, Clear is going to get burst down, and they do have the damage for it, but now another charge to come through from Shelly, as she will get a bit of a headache and get herself a bit of damage onto this inner turret.
So this play from Bro kind of worked out at the end of the day, but I think he's about to take the wheel. So Bro, they need to be very cautious about what they do next, as this might not be that caution.
Yeah, Clear is a little bit mad about what happened in the bottom lane, as the flash out from Roma doesn't get flagged and dragged, but does get put into the Cataclysm, and down he will go. Taeyun throwing those Beyblades around will be able to go into a killing. Yeah, there's always the next level of the plan. I think that's what makes Faker such a good chess player. Always knows what's happening afterwards, but the inner turret is very, very close to dead. VicLa is looking for an angle towards GIDEON. He just flashes immediately out of the way. Namgung not so lucky as Taeyun taking a lot of damage. There's a good spell shield to avoid the Tempered Fate. True Shot Barrage onto VicLa, and now Casting finding that backline. Dives on top of VicLa, who flashes out of the way. Taeyun is now having to deal with this Olaf, though. He's throwing around these boomerangs, but he's still so dead. Roma now having to deal with 3, so he's going to get taken down. But Raptor just playing the do-si-do here with Teddy and with GIDEON, who manages to find the Q, connects it onto the Java, and now VicLa with the Scat of the Week finds the angle. Teddy is still trying to throw down the damage as Casting as well, throwing these axes in. Somehow it was a 2 for 2 for so long, make that a 3 for 3 as Teddy flashes out of the way, and Clear cannot get on top of this Ezreal now.
All right, as the dust settles, it's still a pretty even trade here, but BNK still have the push, right? Like, they are able to get this turret. The Dragon spawns in 45 seconds here in this fight, though, punishing VicLa for stepping forward there. Now doesn't have his flash as we fight for Dragon.
Yeah, Taeyeon gets tagged. Casting looking for a backline angle as Flag and Drag there's the kickback on Gideon. Cataclysm comes down. Namgung and Roma are both dead, but now Casting dashing into that backline. Gideon gets in there as well, tries to get himself out. Taeyeon is taken down. Teddy is just nowhere near this fight though. He cannot get in, and a phenomenal scat of the week comes down from VicLa, finding himself some of these orbs. And he should be able to get another one.
Teddy!
Teddy finds the angle.
My God, that was insane. he just looked at the basically way higher health Syndra, and he's like, what Teddy's been able to do, even from behind. Look at what Teddy's been able to do in these scrappy fights. They're just trusting that with less money, he'll still be extremely valuable. But the Olaf is going to be a big win con here for those later game
now
fight.
The big damage is going to start being picked up. Teddy does need to be careful of this.
Big potential.
Great Rune Prison, kick back onto Raptor. He cataclysms to get out, but he's not going to hit the Flag and Drag because he's dead. Gideon locks that one down. That is Jungler dead. 2 minutes on the Drake. The Baron. Yeah, the thing is, they did invest quite a lot to try and make that happen as Casting is over here. Gideon once again with Roma, looking for an angle towards Clear. The all-out comes through, the kick back, and Gideon looking to try and slow him down. It's Teddy that locks up the kill, and now Tempered Fate gets another spell shield out of Taeyeon as they look to try and turn a Cataclysm. The Arcane Shift is going to be there for Teddy as Gideon's in a lot of trouble. Kellin getting hurt a lot by that True Shot barrage, but now Teddy has to leave because Taeyeon is so scary. Casting gets into the backline though, but Taeyeon over the wall doing so much damage. Teddy's almost just dead here on the backside of this fight as Raptor does deal with Casting here. Taeyeon now, there is no Ragnarok to deal with. So it looks like Casting's not going to be able to do this one as never mind. Looks for the angle, doesn't find it. Great Flag and Drag from Raptor.
Yeah, Raptor just ready to peel there. Instantly flag drags one of the shorter ones. So Bro, like, okay, this is playable. Raptor goes in.
No, and Roma goes so far away from this fight.
Both Raptor and
in 15 seconds time. Hextech Soul that is game winning. Especially when you've got Siva Karma in this game. Like, the movement speed advantage would be absurd. That True Shot barrage, also relatively absurd. As Scout of the Week connects onto Gideon. He looks for an angle. Tempered Fate finds nothing. As now, the Realm Warp comes on over. Now I'm going in a little bit of a weird spot. That's a great Cosmic Binding.
If either of those abilities hit, that could have been Dragon winning for Bro, but instead it's nothing.
Yeah, oh, there's a Cataclysm onto Roma. He flashes to get out of the way. Raptor trying to escape from Teddy as Taeyeon rushes over towards him, and the pros just didn't even really notice. They didn't react in time. Scout once again, oh no! Roma gonna get caught out, knocked up by the Flag and Drag, and destroyed. Down to the GA goes Gideon as well. He has to be so careful, and he flashes, but still gets scattered. Safeguard over to that water. Taeyeon taking some damage, and now Casting gets in, executes the Siva, and now realizes he just has to hit whatever's in front of him. Teddy gets himself out of the way, but Clear cuts him to shreds. And Namgung and Casting, I don't think they can deny this one together.
They're just going to push right up the mid lane here for this inhibitor. Teddy's not up for 45. Roamer down for 30 here. This should be a very strong inhibitor take here for BNK with no resistance. I think they absolutely should get the inhibitor, but they're having second thoughts about that.
Okay.
I think if they just stayed together, they could have gotten it and then still had Dragon Prio, but they want to play for Dragon instead because Hextech is so incredibly powerful as a soul. They don't want to leave.
But still, the Bros, they've got a very uphill battle if they do want to be winning this game number one. And you mentioned it. I mean, the door is open wide for BNK just to move in. Raptor, though, is going to look for an engage onto Teddy. Cataclysm goes down. The Arcane shifts to get himself out of the way. Is now Clear. Looking to get into that backline. He will be able to find it as Roma. A gigantic shield as Teddy, True Shot barrage doing a whole lot of work. Stridebreaker comes in, but now the damage is just too much. The Olaf cannot stand up against BNK FEARX, and they will basically get an ace as it's only Teddy left alive. He's looking to try and trying to get them off these Nexus turrets, but I have a feeling the only thing he's going to get is a game number 2 as BNK will demolish Bro in this first one and really stamp their mark on this series already.
So the Onivia gets flex top. They put Roamer on this Aurora. The Onivia into the Rumble very strong, especially if you have a
no
strong
ghost or anything like that, like we saw from Romer in game 1. As Gideon here wants to actually take these Raptors away, gets the first move.
Yeah, Romer is looking to make his way over as well. Bounces on in. There's the flash forward as Raptor goes into the sky, but now VicLa only has 1 gold card. Romer trying to find the damage, and they should be able to get first blood. Can they get another one as Raptor tries to get away? And Kellin is in this brush. The flash forward, they managed to lock down Kellin, but Raptor is the target. The blooming burst, a double kill for Romer.
It's bumped the air for surviving, but unfortunately, let's see if they can make a play here. It's not over yet. They still have a little bit of a pressure point here.
Yep. Shape splitter there from Namgung is going to work out as Gideon will be able to secure his blue buff.
Teddy got the whole wave, and now he has level 6. He's ready to look for a trap flank.
Dear. How do we escape this one, ladies and gentlemen, as Raptor is going to tank that damage. Does go untargetable now as he looks to get on top of Teddy, but the headshots are reigning supreme. Taeyeon just gets popped like a balloon. My God, Teddy, that was gorgeous. No bailout for you, Kellin. You're just going to be food for the Caitlyn. And where was this, bro, in game 1?
Well, we're seeing him now.
They're back
Teddy,
from the bank. I think
Teddy,
that's where they're coming back from. They made a withdrawal.
Teddy looked so good in that play. So watch here the escape for some reason.
산 거 같아. 살았어.
I lived. However, Twisted Fate normally you'd think would be feeling very good, but with a 2-kill deficit he is holding right now, not going to be the one in the advantage.
Oh, there's the flash handshake, but Kellin's just dead. Teddy locks down that kill, and you can see Namgung just heals and flashes and gets himself away.
Yeah, he had that heal I was talking about, and Raptor was too far away. Now they're trying to bait Teddy in here a little bit.
Yeah, Raptor will be able to bounce over that wall. There's the equalizer going down as Teddy will be flashing. There's the paranoia. Oh my God, where did Taeyeon go? He is just missing on the map. Still Gideon takes a fair bit of damage as Clear tried to make this one happen. And VicLa coming on in. That is a great spell shield from Gideon. Still has to flash to get himself out of the way, but Namgung's making his way back in. Turtle Port will bring over Roma, and he goes between the worlds. VicLa just disintegrates. And the Bros now have a 7-0 kill lead and a 4K gold lead already.
And Bro have a 4,000 gold lead.
And Wolf, Gideon is, okay, never mind. Casting is now going to possibly be turned into an egg. Does complete his role quest, but
TP egg.
Yeah, he's just going to TP the egg out. He manages to make his way through because it's a Neferi Rumble.
Yeah.
You cannot stop that.
So easy. And
Also
by the way,
with ult.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if Taeyeon could stay here, but he wants to really desperately.
I don't know whether Raptor really wants to be on this counter gank either, as Namgung is moving in. There's the paranoia. They get right on top of Taeyeon, who will get feared and tries to find the bailout, but it doesn't work. Pop Blossom locks Kellin in place. It's another double for Teddy. 9-0 now for the Bros. They took game 1 personally.
Yeah.
And he already has that item completed. And there is not even a static shiv done yet for Taeyeon. As, all right, VicLa goes in. They're going to try and kill Teddy, and they will be able to ruin the perfect game. What the heck, BNK? Well, that is exactly the target that they wanted to be killing, and maybe they can make something of this.
I thought if we didn't talk about back here with that top turret going over and now the mid.
Yeah, no, now the gold lead is
Pop it. There's nothing left.
Yep. They could just take an inner turret in the mid lane. That would certainly open up the map for the Bros. Kellin taking a lot of burst damage as the eye is picked up here from Gideon, and now they're looking for a bit of a fight. Between worlds they go, and Pop Blossom finds 4 Namgung! You absolute gem! He destroys the bottom lane. BNK can just do nothing. VicLa flashes.
This time I think
it'll be fine.
Inhibitor turret at 17.5 minutes. We're looking at it. It's going to disappear.
There's an army of Gideon's grubs there as well, as they're looking for Taeyeon and Kellin. They will be able to find them. They do have the bailout, but I don't think it's really going to do enough here, as he does get bailed out one time. Still Namgung goes down. They get Romer as Clear, just getting shot by Teddy over and over again. And the wall will stop VicLa from doing anything at all. It'll be a triple here for Teddy, as they've broken open the base. They can take an inhibitor if they'd like to, but maybe just wander to the bottom lane and just get, which is pretty cool. So there is an icy theme between both Casting and Teddy, as there's a paranoia. A very small wall comes down, and Casting doesn't really mind the size of the wall. He is just going to kill the Rumble.
This game is the early game Bro into Snowball. Fights in Raptor as well on the Jarvan. But this time around, BNK just try to match Bro in these early skirmishes, and they fall flat. As Romer might be in trouble.
Oh, maybe. We'll see. He does take a bit of damage here as there are traps being laid out. Teleport in, and it's the Bros that think it is their time to fight, and I think it might be as well, as Pop Blossom not going to quite find the mark here as Taeyeon does have the bailout. He gets rid of Namgung, and now Roma just goes into stealth, denies any sort of follow-up, and Kellin is running the wrong way. There is a bird actually canonically flying in that moment, and manages to get the stun. There is the ace in the hole, and Raptor will be able to survive it, at least for the moment. Paranoia comes in, they spotted him
Too many
for a
long
brief
range
second.
ultimates to avoid there for the poor doggo.
And I had to wait so long to oppose.
You got baited a little bit by Romer. You didn't end up winning the play, but he's got his ultimate hunter stacks. Let's just put it that way.
He really does. He's 4-1 and 14, Wolf. He's 18 out of 20 kill participation. This is a Gideon game through and through. As Taeyeon, he's actually going to get hit by the ace in the hole. This time, it's 3 items for Teddy. I mean, this is all over, but the crying, I think the crying may have already started.
Yeah, I think it was over about 11 minutes ago. It was clear at least to
Oh, look
Rocket
at Roma.
Belt.
He's just pressing buttons.
Rocket Belt's past the wall. Clean, I suppose. They're going to lose Ocean Soul Point. Probably the best news for BNK all game
Love
long
this
is
play. It's not going to work, but it was a very cute idea. As Clear turns up, and there is just a wall in his face. The Baron just doing so much work. Pop Blossom onto everyone as there's the Paranoia into the back line. The Nico will die, but that is what Namgung does best. And no bailout for you, Taeyeon. You are going straight to game 3, my friend, as VicLa is going to be sliced in half by the human blender that is Gideon. And the bros say, oh, maybe that's a good idea. Let's do Baron.
Yeah, Namgung Nico. Nico enjoyers towards the latter half of the season, where it has been a niche pick that we've seen in some matchups occasionally, but he has just taken over. He's a large part of why they were able to win the lane so hard into the Callista Renata, but that's not the part people will remember. They'll remember the big ults. As speaking of a big ult, that's one from the Onivia that Raptor is still not going to enjoy.
Yeah,
really big ult.
Survive.
Misplays, maybe they could have taken it.
The wall guaranteed the trap. That was so cute.
Yeah, very cute.
Oh, I like that. Using the game's popping. As Gold Card going to stop Roma in his tracks for a few moments here, as he will probably go down. There is the kill. Now looking for an angle as they look to get on top of casting, but he dash cannons to get himself out of the way.
This is what BNK have to do, is have to group as 5 and basically always see if you can find bro who are like less than 4.
It's a great pick, man. He had him Magize. He's down 8. To go back to the kill participation thing for Gideon, which is very fun, 22 out of 24. He has remained just 2 behind throughout this game. Obviously, with Paranoia, it's quite easy to get some assists, but pretty impressive stuff. But BNK are actually counter-pushing in 2 lanes. This is going to be a lot of bounty gold that they will be able to pick up. The bros, they might be able to pick up a Nexus.
Yeah,
and that would probably be better.
Inhibitor worst case, which means that you have super minions pushing on the opposite side of the map where bro are trying to get Ocean Soul.
Clear.
So that's not good.
Clear. Teddy is going to walk down the red carpet, just goes into melee range against the Rumble and kills him, but he does go down. Raptor is now able to get that ult off onto Namgung. Look for the angle there as Gideon getting into that back line. The bailout not going to work once again, as the bottom lane will be torn to shreds. And the problem with losing a fight here is it's your own base, and there are enemy minions here. This could just be game over, as VicLa is going to be cut down. It's a triple kill for Roma. There is the ace, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is game over. The pros will even out the series.
A big shift of form for both of our mid laners. The early skirmishes that BNK opted into, they did so without enough control to win them. They get outplayed by Teddy, who ends the game with 11 kills. And bro will bring us to a 1-1 scoreline.
My goodness. This is what we wanted.
They have all the setup to get a Draven cash-in early on. You know, with the poke that comes through, the engage they have with the cannon, the pillars. If anybody gets out of position and is denied the ability...
Bit of time with the Jace flex, as Raptor is making a bit of a move towards the bottom side, as VicLa is basically just dead here in this mid lane. Roma looking for the angle here, is now Taeyeon taking a lot of damage, but Raptor makes his way in, and Teddy is dead already. Not enough time to build up
attention early, and we haven't even seen Taeyeon buy yet.
Yeah, actually just continuing up the pressure here towards his bottom side. Still has a pretty chunky health bar, as Teddy wants to lay down these axes. The flash in, and Taeyeon just kills him. Walks his way out of there, and Teddy, yes. For a Doran's Blade. Going for a Doran's Ring in this matchup. As there's an exhaust onto Teddy. He may need to be flashing out of the way of this one, as the barrier is going to be available first, but Raptor just comes and kills him. He's not going to waste any summoners on this. Just thought that he was dead.
GIDEON was coming over here, but a little bit too late.
Clear, so that is good news, but looking a bit lopsided here on the map, but the actual kills have been going in the favor of BNK. Finally, Teddy finding some axes towards Taeyeon, though, as the barrier does come down. Teddy did use his already, but GIDEON's going to make his way in. Taeyeon realizing that he has to just fight for this one, and that is the cash-in with not a whole lot of stacks, but still a good one. But it's always a freebie extra, as down goes the kitty cat as well.
Yeah, Teddy's going to pick up a lot of money. That gold lead at Raptors is faster, and he just says, sorry, Teddy. Just goes straight to the scuttle. All on the top side.
Yeah, that is an ignite down onto the vein, and I don't think Clear is making his way out of this one. The flash to follow for casting, and he'll lock that one down.
Dragon.
Yeah,
you know where we want to play.
I think they're not too worried about it. Teddy comes back with that BF sword that I was talking about, so he's going to be feeling a lot better in this lane. Taeyeon at least does have a Caulfield and his Sheen, so that burst back to lane with some shoes. So still looking for a bit of that money as Taeyeon at, oh my lord. Yeah, level 7 now, so we've got a few points in that queue. Only one more left to go, and he'll lock that one down as the Whirling Death is going to fly on through. Now GIDEON looking for this dive, and yeah, Clear. This is going to be a tough one to survive through, and they're just going to get through the turret first. And Slicing Maelstrom is going to come on through. They got a little bit impatient, I guess, and they'll take the kill. They'll take the turret, and the bros, I guess the Draven, yeah, and they're just going to let this bottom out of turret. There's no minions!
No, it's not even going to go, because...
Wait, so they'll take mid, they'll take top inner, and they won't even lose their turret. They'll finally lose their turret now.
You know what the
word, God.
You know what the word for this is? Bracro.
Bracro, or
yeah.
Macbro.
Well, we're here. They have a huge wave.
Yeah, casting, he's got his gun as well. Taeyeon might be able to get rid of this wave, and he does, but backdoor bonus doesn't come in time, and that is going to be the outer turret removed in that mid lane, as GIDEON does not seem to care about Raptor at all.
Ult him.
And he does get hit twice with the Cyclone. Finally, the ult comes down from the Galio, but Taeyeon is just dead off to the side. Kellin is removed from any teammate to dive to, and that is another cash-in for Teddy.
I think HANJIN BRION have been able to pilot this game
Advantage.
It certainly is.
And, like, oftentimes we find ourselves in moments like this.
Ahead as well. This game, BNK had a win con in the Lucian. They played through it well. The Wukong got ahead as well, and then they just didn't patch the hole on the top side. And now, you know, the lead is going to grow. Yeah, it's problematic, let's just say.
At least Clear did manage to get some bounty gold, so there is that. They took down the turret, as there's something there. He is still 2.3k behind. It's a killing spree for the Ken.
And look for aggressive trades, because there's so much peel for him, plus so much damage lack on the other side to take him out. Like
he gets to run up to the Raptor camp on the enemy side of the map to stop a recall.
Yeah, if Raptor gets on top of Teddy and there's no fall, Bro just running away with this lead, taking a Dragon with a mid-Jace as they push into this inner with a Herald that hasn't charged yet.
Oh man, Shelly just going to eat the entire inner turret. So there is 5 turrets taken, and casting tried to drive Shelly towards that bottom side, isn't going to quite get there. So that is at least some pseudo good news here for BNK FEARX. But when we're including that in good news, that means where it gets warm. It's all right. There is a kickback with the fire kick there onto VicLa. He's taking a lot of damage. The final chapter may not be for the bros, as that's another cash in over to Teddy. And now the gold lead for him alone is 2,000.
Yeah, and the other lead that was maybe going to be there for a little while for BNK was the Wukong. Case for what? We don't know. The Wukong is way too far away, and even if he was nearby by the Liz, like 4 wards in the brush.
Who wins this? Well, Casting says, trust me, I'm a doctor, and he's got Namgung to come on over as well. The exhaust not going to do nearly enough as Taeyeon has to flash away. Then he goes back in. Shock blast right to the face as Roma flashes in. No funny business from this Jace as Casting just kites them around. Clear trying to get himself out of the way. Look at this AoE damage. It is gigantic. Another kill goes to Teddy as he's now flashing in on top of BNK. The Justice Punch is great though, and down goes the Draven. Still Roma is there with the damage as Casting is somehow still alive, and it's another phenomenal shock blast as Roma locks down the double. There's the ace.
All right, one more piece of good news. All the while, Casting is getting towards that death cap from the top wave. Might even have it right now.
Taeyeon has 3 items.
Awkward approach here for BNK. They have the teleport here for VicLa.
It's dead. But Raptor might get there, sort of. The Cyclone does nothing. The Baron goes down. And BNK, we're there to watch.
Yeah, I thought they were actually going to commit with the Flash Cyclone, where they don't know and they just move away from that. Like, VicLa had a flank sub. He's like, I have a pocket of vision. Like, ooh, there's a pocket of vision we don't have over there. Let's push bottom instead. And now they're going to get this inhibitor turret.
Taeyeon needs to run away. Yeah, he does do that. When there's a Jace and a Draven, the turrets just do not exist for very long, do they?
Watch Teddy just
Ow!
autoed
What the heck? That's not even a shock blast! That was an auto attack, basically, with Q press. Oh dear, that's a great interruption there onto VicLa. And the Whirling Death just going to soften up Taeyeon and the Gargoyle here as the bros. This war of attrition.
I think this is just the end of the game.
Oh my lord!
This is the end of the game. They're going to slowly push through. They've got a minute left, and I just think there's no way BNK could defend the siege. They don't have that bottom wave prep.
Oh, the way that he dashed and the axe was just definitely going to come down onto his head. Every one of these is so scary.
They're just trying to get to that wave.
Oh no, Clear is put in the kennel, and the stand aside is beautiful. Still not quite able to do it as the culling comes down. It is that bullet hell that we were talking about. Cyclone onto Roma, but he flashes out of the way. Heroic entrance comes down, and Roma boops back the monkey. It doesn't quite work out though as Raptor getting taken down solo. There goes the Gargoyle. They did get the Jace. That is something. The Raptor is going to die. It's a double kill here for Teddy, whose health bar I don't think was really touched, but he did lose most of his BT shield. So there's that.
Seconds on these empowered super minions, and this is the end of the game. They're going to match point.
Yeah, there it is. Taeyeon just going to get hit by a few more of these as the turret goes down. The Nexus follows, and the bros make it to match point.
Single champion on HANJIN BRION has a form of CC to brawl with. You've got the stun from the Renekton, and the Pantheon stun, the Charm, the Feathers, and Polymorph. Not to mention Wild Gribble.
Romo looking for an angle here, does find the Spirit Rush as the Shockwave pulls him in. Now Raptor, he shows up, and Romo is able to pick up the first blood, gets the reset, gets himself out. Man, this guy, he's just
forced to do so, but says, I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
And look, Orianna ults him first with the self-ult, but the Charm still lands. The Pantheon follow-up is there. Romer gets the ult reset as well, right? Because Renekton is like, casting and try to look for an all-in there. Speaking of all-in.
There's the ult. The immediate flash out from Gideon is going to avoid the Shockwave. And Roma, he doesn't find the Charm, nor does he find much else, but they're still going to be able to grab this kill. It is a really good ult there from Raptor to make sure that the Pantheon doesn't...
It was pretty cute.
Yeah. So we've got a bit of a fight here towards the top side. Casting is realizing that there are a bunch of friends for Clear up here towards his top side. Culvermeek not off cooldown, and that is a kill over. Biding his time, killing as many of these creeps as possible before he just destroys this turret.
All right, looking like that's going to be the case. There's a pretty strong item. Very powerful for controlling the mid wave as well.
Cool, Casting able to dice out of the way here as Taeyeon has to ult to try and keep himself alive. Also needed to flash to get himself out of the way. As now just looking for a back. And there is the ulti in from Gideon. They do not want to let Taeyeon escape this, as the bros are on the warpath. And Taeyeon is actually going the correct direction to try and get to safety. There is a Nature's Grasp as well. To try and make sure
the Herald is
able to get him out. But yeah, the Herald is going to be able to take down the outer turret in mid lane. Trying to clear out this vision. Now there's 10 seconds on the Drake. Now there is a reason to fight around this area. And having a look, I mean, there's no flash on Taeyeon. That is the biggest one.
There's
Romer
TP
as well.
Advantage here allows him to get a topside turret, so that's some serious value already here for BNK.
Well, the bros are just going to have to start this one off as quickly as possible. Banana Brush control remains in favor of BNK as now the teleport into the back of this pit. As Casting, if he uses the slice to get over that wall, he will need to commit to leaving. But there is the Nature's Grasp. Casting just hasn't been able to get in as Roma looks for the angle towards Taeyeon, finds the Charm. Gideon gets in, and they do manage to take down the Inara. But now it's the Aatrox that's popping off. Clear gets into that backline. Teddy's trying to stay alive, but I just don't think it's going to work. The Featherstorm gets pulled, but he has the flash, but no chance of making it out.
Almost able to get over the wall there, but I think probably would have been dead either way. And they're going to look for a Baron here. Okay, they changed their mind. And we're looking for a Baron, but decide ultimately to just get the mid turret instead.
The Huni Baron was too scary.
Very scary. So, on the
up this way,
they could trade Baron.
Yeah, thinking about going for a bit of a fight here is Clear on that flank angle. He is spotted. Good sweepers. And now they just go for the engage. They dive on top of Teddy. Does he go into the sky? He does, as the feathers have been pulled, but Clear gets into that backline. It is going to be one of the kills over to Teddy as he flashes out of the way, but Clear is still untouched. And everyone else was just murdered around the Xayah, and Teddy doesn't do enough damage. Now the teleport comes in, and Teddy just has nowhere to go. He's standing on a ward. Yeah, there is just no way out of this one, buddy. He's just going to go down. That is the ace, and BNK FEARX may have just brought us to a Baron. I don't know whether there's much of a chance to get back into this one, but it's a teleport in from casting. Let's see what they can actually do about this. As they get the vision, it might be a 50-50. Is GIDEON just going to try and do what he can? But no, Raptor will be able to secure this. Casting gets in there, but look at the damage from Taeun. He tears them to shreds. As now Teddy, even the dissonance, too much for him to handle. And Clear hasn't even lost health in this fight yet. The flash for the Twisted Advance, not going to be enough there. But Raptor, I mean, they've killed all but Roma so far. That might have been your last fight there, Wolf.
I think that probably was. They needed one more solid one. They had the good setup there. They're playing with a Maokai. And they just sit on the Baron and say, I don't think there's anything you can realistically do. GIDEON wants to try to find some sort of ult angle, but if he goes in by himself, he'll just be fodder for BNK, so he slowly advances forward towards Taeun, looking for a potential angle for them to follow. This is what you have to show in a best of 5 if you're going to make playoffs. Aatrox pushing the mid lane, and 2 inhibitor turrets are under threat. Here comes the Hail Mary Pantheon.
Yeah, let's go for a great dredge line just to catch him out of the air, as GIDEON does have a GA now completed, but Taeun, he is just going to get cleansed. Casting trying to get on in there. That GA does come on down, and my God, the Bro health bars just evaporate. It's an instant pentakill for Taeun, and BNK will set up the Silver Scrapes. Thank you for that one, Gillette. And now these Nexus turrets are going to be taken out, and BNK will bring us to another 5-game series. The Bros, a 10 out of 10 team. We knew it already, but it is now
of playing this Aurelia side lane and having the setup with the stun for the Nidalee to follow with Spear. You have so many ways for Jhin to then set up a route onto somebody. The Spear can then follow on.
Versus the new one. Aurelia doesn't get as many stats at level 6, you'll hear Orcs say. As Clear is just going to wander past the wave. But I don't know whether you really want to. Does take a plate here to start this one off, as there's another flawless duet, as Casting could be in a bit of trouble here as he gets back underneath his turret. The flash away and first blood over to Casting. It is a disaster here, but it's also a disaster in the jungle as GIDEON is going to drive his way out. And Raptor does out of the way as, well, there's a flash in, but he misses. Well, actually, he does get the stun, but Kellin makes his way out. Oh dear, now Clear looking for the re-engage as Raptor moves his way in. The flawless duet is named so well as down goes the Skarner. Casting trying to escape this one as well as the spear goes wide. But maybe BNK FEARX have found their way back.
For Teddy, no damage on the bottom side of the map.
Oh, GIDEON is going to get pounced on here as he looks to try and drive his way out. As Roma, I don't think he's going to be able to save him. Yeah, finds his stun on a VicLa, and that is about it. Swipes coming on through. Oh, not going to quite hit the spear, so Roma will survive, but GIDEON is dead again.
Down here, a huge problem as well.
Yeah, exactly. Kellin taking a lot of damage, but there is another fight here on this top side as Casting trying to keep himself alive. Does use the ulti to try and avoid something and walks his way out, but now Raptor is still lurking. The spear will connect, and he's just gone.
The Observers are struggling to keep... Yeah, it would be just another year, another missed playoffs.
As Clear now, not going to quite find the flawless duet. Mitigates a fair bit of damage there as now Casting continuing to try and do his best playing out this lane. Another turret shot, but another shot that he just doesn't care about. As
How much damage
dashing around, yeah. He did find an ult there. He might have been able to get an angle, but now Raptor is still here. Oh, just narrowly avoids
Skarner just
that spear.
Can't keep up with the Nidalee.
Oh no.
Always behind.
The top lane as well, as we can see.
Just hasn't visited the bottom lane where they have control. And he doesn't even have his first completed item. But right now, VicLa's getting close to 2.
And VicLa is just unanswered here in this top lane. There's not a whole lot they can do about it, as Raptor is moving into the enemy jungle. That is kind of not even the enemy jungle, as the flash away from the taunt from Roma. That really shows the fear here.
Yeah, they have 4 people on the bottom lane, and still he flashes.
Yeah.
They have no power anywhere, and BNK know it. Kellin knows it. He doesn't even flash for that taunt.
Oh god, that's a charge from Shelly. They're going to take an inner turret here in this top lane.
We might
He
be
took the
seeing
outer turret as
taking
well.
it off his head as well, but he does survive. But they committed 2 flashes and 2
Oh,
ults
God.
and get nothing.
And the deadly flourish connects the Arcane Storm, and down goes the Annie. There is just nothing they can do. They were off screen.
Deadly.
Okay, now the curtains have been called yet again. Gideon is the target. He's trying to drive his way out of there. The spear is connecting, and my goodness, the Bros just take way too much poke damage. Nice stun. Will connect onto Raptor as the Acathian Rain comes down.
The
but
4-1 is just hitting so hard. Clear with Hullbreaker in the mid lane starts to work away at this. As they chase him, BNK take out this inner, and then he's just going to go push the top wave and rinse and repeat.
They just pulled
So
around.
much power inside. So much wave clear.
All right, now VicLa is going to close in on Gideon. There is nowhere for him to go, no flash available. Does look for the Impale, but doesn't quite find it as the Void Seeker. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's doing much of anything at all. It's a third death here.
They just haven't needed to take this. If they had taken this, it would have taken their foot off the gas for a minute. But with this kill on the Skarner, they know it is just a freebie. They just go right back to what they were doing. Pretty formidable so far, I think, all things considered.
Well, there's the flash Impale. They get the flash out of VicLa. That is all they're really getting, but there's the teleport in from casting. Everyone dives in. They do take down VicLa here. As the Magnus Storm comes through, Taeyeon in a little bit of trouble. As Kellin is likely to go down, but there's the Vanguard's Edge. They take down the Shen, but Teddy also falls. As Clear is going to be slammed into the wall. Now the Nidalee is trying to get that work done, and casting, can he be the hero? As Taeyeon is looking for the angle, he'll find it. And it's a triple kill for this Nidalee.
They needed a little bit more damage. Atlas in the fight. They found a good engage. They found the team split. They finally found an angle to strike, but they just could not cut through the health bars. And Raptor is the one who's pushing down this inhibitor now. The base is open. Now I'm just going to stall this out. They will get the respawns. They won't be able to. But that's, you know.
Yeah, we don't know whether we'll get to that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really a part of this conversation. Completely open here. The siege is real.
Yeah, burn barrier in for Raptor as well, so he does have that shield. As now Nam going looking for an angle towards VicLa, and there is a public execution as well. He gets held over his own gravity well, as VicLa will be taken down. Teddy grabs that kill. Now they're also going to get the Shen. It's a double for Teddy.
Clear's ending the game.
Yeah, Clear is looking to try and win. And that's probably a good idea, as the curtains have been called. Gideon almost dies, actually, from that 4th shot. But this Nexus turret does not go down. And so the triple Flame Horizon may not happen, though, so maybe that's something worth talking about. As Vanguard's Edge comes through, as Roma gets through the base gate, but he's just so dead. My goodness. Taeyeon is also just going to get dove on here by Teddy. Kellin is there, though, and he finds himself the taunt onto this Kai'Sa. As now the curtains have been called once again. Gideon trying to drive his way out of here. And the bullets will cease for the moment, but a 4 versus 5 to try and defend these Nexus turrets. Oh man, it is looking so rough for the Bros. The first Nexus turret does go down.
Players here.
There's the Magnus Storm, catches onto 2 of them, but Gideon does not find the angle with that Impale. Kellin just taunts the air because his target was already dead. Casting gets into the backline, VicLa goes golden as Teddy dove on by Clear. And this is how the Bros will be dismissed from the playoffs as BNK FEARX make it 3 in a row.
3 in a row, and this team bounced back in a big way in this